Today's episode of Literally is sponsored by Lowe's.
Let me see what's going on with this hair.
Yeah, no, it looks amazing.
Dude, we have hair.
We do.
Fuck yeah,
we do.
baby.
All mine are named and numbered.
We have hair.
At times I see it go down the drain. I'm like, why? What have I ever done to you?
I know.
Why are you leaving me now?
Do you like the hair?
It's good.
It's okay, right? Okay. You got good looks on the hair.
Okay.
We know Ralph has good hair.
No, please.
Do you come from a long line of sweet people? Like, is there male pattern baldness in your family?
He totally is. My dad wears, he's in his 80s now,
Yeah.
but I would say in his late 30s, one day I was like, boy, Dad's hair looks great. Because it was just this full head of hair. I always said that's how blind I was that he was wearing.
He was wearing a rug?
piece at the time.
A piece?
Yeah. But,
that's amazing. I would wear it if I had to. But look, guys our age,
Hey,
what's going on?
There are not many. We are in a select group of well-preserved.
Well-preserved. Congrats on the movie, man.
Thank you.
You're back in theaters where
it
you
was
belong.
kind of fun. Yeah. It was kind of nice to, launch it on the big screen, get back there. It's, movies are so hard now.
I know.
There's such, it's big ideas, conceptual, opening weekend. What's your drop off the second weekend and see on Netflix?
What was it like going through a movie experience as someone who did tons of them in the glory days when we were all doing them? And then, you were an early pioneer at YouTube. Which I want to get to because that's now the place to be.
Right.
So it starts in YouTube, goes to Netflix, goes into theaters. It's been a whole journey for Cobra Kai.
It has been. Well, what's in the theaters is a separate ecosystem in the grand universe, in the Karate Kid universe.
Yes.
But Cobra Kai, came up. We pitched that, 8 years ago, wound up on YouTube Red, which then became YouTube Premium. No.
I see.
So it was at the point that Google gave YouTube some cash to say, hey, we want to be in this scripted business. And they soon realized they can make a lot more dough with someone doing some stunt, jumping out of a helicopter, than hiring a staff and setting up studios and paying actors to live someplace. And so but the show, Suzanne Daniels was at YouTube. I think she still is there. And she was the one who just said, I know you're going to go someplace else, but we don't need to read anything. We don't need to see anything. We want this. The pitch was really good. And we were at Netflix. We went to all those places. But the thing was YouTube had one card to play, and that's sight unseen, start making them. Because they were trying to build that scripted entity, which in essence, after season 3 of Cobra Kai, when it became this hit, the low expectations for that show did not hurt us. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is going to suck, but I'm going to watch it. And then all of a sudden, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, critic scores, and it was the surprise. And then they kind of, it was the only one still standing when Google was mandating YouTube out of the scripted world as they were seeing it. They couldn't make sense out of it. Pandemic hits. We have no home. They don't want to cancel the show, but they're not going to do it. But we had 10 episodes in our back pocket of a show that was successful. And then we went, to Uncle Ted. Uncle Ted, who's where we wanted it to begin with.
Shout out to Uncle Ted. I know he's listening.
Yeah, he is listening.
Oh boy, they're 100%.
If not, we'll send it to him.
Oh no, believe I get great reviews. Hey, I loved your conversation.
Yeah. So, and that was just about figuring out a way to, the world is shutting down, but someone needed to spend a lot of money to extricate and get it from YouTube or share it. And then it was relaunched. So sort of like an out-of-town tryout.
Yes, that's what it feels like.
And then we went to, the Grapefruit League, and then you're at Dodger Stadium, or shall I say Citi Field, or maybe even Yankee Stadium. I almost wore the Met hat today.
You and I have so much to talk about.
But it was
much.
It's there. Hopefully, we'll see in the postseason. Could be.
Did you see my online feud with Frank the Tank?
I know. I heard of this, and I need to check it out.
You need to check it out.
Yeah.
Somebody has said to me, "Who's Frank the Tank?" I go, "If you watch Howard Stern, he's like stuttering John.
Right.
Wouldn't you say that's the perfect?
Yeah. Sidekick. That guy.
Not John Boy. That's another thing. I love those guys. At Barstool.
Yep.
And he was saying that the Dodgers have no likable people in the organization, and that Dodger Stadium.
The manager's likable.
As to every Freddie Freeman,
and you're likable.
And I'm likable. And so I went after him in a very, very funny way. So, and we'll see you in the playoffs for sure. But so back to movie star Ralph Macchio, my favorite Macchio of all Macchios.
Me too.
Because I've known them all. I've known Teen Idol Ralph Macchio. I've known Eight Is Enough Ralph Macchio.
Oh wow, that's right.
I remember sitting across from you at ABC Century City.
Yes, I remember
going to the network read. It was going to be you or my, mano a mano.
I know.
And only one man came out on top, and it was Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, that was, wow. I was 9 was too many, and that was the end of that show. But
you were like that moment where they add on like a Martian or a talking dog.
No, it was like a cousin whatever on what's on Brady by Cousin Oliver. No, he was he was. It was kind of. It was an ABC talent search. That's kind of where I came out in New York. I did what Disney Channel, Nickelodeon did for so long, and finding their kids and then keeping them in the pen and like plugging and playing them in where they 100%. So this was kind of the show that was on that. Oh, we need that type, that rebellious East Coast.
Young Fonzie.
Yeah, right. Young Fonzie or probably young Chachi is what they were thinking at the time.
Chachi, yes, of course.
And so,
of course they were.
Yeah, I remember flying out here and being nervous at ABC Entertainment Center.
I think your mom was with you?
It was, you know what? You probably remember better than I do. And my mom says hello.
Oh, you give her my best.
She never forgets when she knocked on the wrong door at the Outsiders and you answered it in a robe or a towel or whatever, and she'll never get that out of her mind.
I was like, God, just a little too old, maybe.
That's right,
God,
Mrs. Macchio, the graduate. Yeah. Awesome, but that's ABC Entertainment Center, Century City, and that was one of those when you go back to the hotel. I think it was at like the Holiday Inn on where the Dolby Theater is, which is probably the Lowe's now. Yeah, I think. I don't know. Last I checked. And you're just waiting for the hotel phone to ring, and it was one of those, and you got it. Like it was like it's crazy.
Those don't happen.
No, they don't happen anymore. And what's interesting, that happened for me so often at the onset. And then there were the dry years where it just like staring at the bat phone, and not even Alfred was calling me. I mean,
but that's
just the way it is.
I always say that to people. I go, if you're lucky enough to be in it as long as we both have been,
for sure,
then part of the deal is surviving the inevitable fallow periods.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, nature has them. Why wouldn't a human
we
being
have a dormant? No, and it makes it all the richer now. I mean, just last week or 2 weeks ago, the premiere for the Karate Kid Legends in New York City, and my wife and kids. We never had a premiere for any of those movies. I just think the Will Smith, Jackie Chan, the Jaden Smith, that had its premiere, but. The movies that I did and The Outsiders, we never really had a premiere.
No. Never.
Crossroads was the only, my cousin Vinny, I didn't have a premiere. Like I'm going down the list now, but Crossroads was the only proper premiere of a movie that I had. Wow. And then so 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, we, to see my kids experience that, even the whole Cobra Kai thing, watch parties at college, and, it tastes sweeter the second time around, and I know how fleeting it is, but to have that, is really grateful. And I have, 8, 10, 12-year-old kids running up to me like, I'm Santa Claus, and they know who Mr. Miyagi is, and they read The Outsiders in school, and they're going to Broadway to see the musical, and it's incredible, man.
I was going to say, you've got a 13-year-old coming towards you. Is it going to be Johnny Cade, or is it going to be?
It's close. I mean, it matters if they go into a fight stance. Then I know which. Then which they give you the crane thing.
The crane.
Yeah, no, they
crane. Thing.
The Outsiders. It's usually usually teenage girls. I'm sure you same.
Mhm.
I mean, you
Yeah.
see if you walk by the theater in New York, you know, they're outside dressed in the costumes of the characters, and it's 40 years past, and they love these characters. Really quite unique to have that on with a few franchises, if you will, or you know.
And I've gotten, as I know you've gone to the Outsiders Museum in Tulsa, which is so sick.
It's great.
It's
I want all
so-
those images. Those images are.
Where did they get
awesome.
those
I mean,
photos?
we had, there were two main photographers. I think I'm blanking on their names, but
They were there the whole time.
They were there
shot-
the whole. I mean, we were shooting stuff.
Did they? I used to get the contact sheets.
Yeah. The slides,
And I
the
remember-
transparencies.
So those things, they shot not only everything of the Outsiders, but if Francis did an angle, he shot the angle.
Yeah.
So you could do a still book of every single angle of the outside. Jim Zink.
Yeah, you got.
Jesus Christ.
Good job. You recall that. What'd you have for breakfast, though?
I can't remember anything.
I
but
know,
I remember the
same.
fucking unit photographer from the Outsiders is Jim Zink.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Jimmy, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
What is the question you get most asked about Outsiders?
What do they ask me most about it? I guess, they'll ask about the burn, like the,
Wow, yeah.
They'll ask about like what the makeup and that, and the fire and that stuff. I just that's a youthful intrigue. Like how'd you do that? How is that done? More so, besides is Cruise cool or not? That comes up a lot.
How's Tom?
Yeah, how's Tom?
I love
What's
it.
he really like?
You and Tom, the only people
I
in
know
theaters.
in movies right now.
You and Tommy.
Side by side.
The Outsiders are fucking undefeated.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Do you remember when Tom removed his tooth?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. He was
So
like,
part of his character.
okay, so let me ask you this. Whenever I see Tom doing these amazing, just beyond insane
It's
stunts.
hard not to say insane, but it's
I look
baffling.
back when Francis made us, for whatever reason, practice to be gymnasts. Do you remember this?
Mhm. Well, yeah, everyone was doing their backflip. I mean, I got away with all that stuff as the Johnny K, the introvert, internal.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't.
Just
feel
walking
like,
by himself.
Yeah, there was never any pressure on you to do a backflip.
Well, I wasn't in the Rumble. I was in the hospital.
That's what it was. But there was a lot of pressure on us to like learn backflips and do all this shit. And I don't know if you've ever learned a standing backflip. It's hard. It's scary as shit.
No.
And of course, there was only one person.
Off the diving board into the pool when I was young. That was like my version because it was always a soft landing.
Well, Tom was the only one who did it. And if you watch the movie's playing and then the movie just stops. And there's a shot of Tom doing a backflip for no reason.
Right.
And then the movie continues.
That's right. Exactly.
But I realized that's where it started for him.
Yeah.
100% that's where it started.
For sure. And then he was quite driven from day one. I mean, that gentleman had a plan.
Right?
He really did.
So it's not just me.
It's not. It just didn't.
I'm not misremembering.
No. Very distinctively, it was happening there. And there's he has the backflip, and he comes up grabbing the back of his head because I'm not so sure he stuck the landing, but the car.
Yes, yeah.
It was out of frame.
And by the way, maybe it's a Texas switch.
Could be. I don't think so.
Oh my God!
But it does have a Texas switch
it's
look
very
to
Texas switch.
Yeah,
look to
it totally
so Texas
does.
switch is.
Explain that.
My favorite Texas switch ever, and I watch this all the time. Is I'm obsessed with 1970s television show openings. Obsessed with them, and my favorite one
Hawaii
is
Five-0. What is that?
well, that's the best one ever.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But there are also some that are ridiculous, and my favorite ridiculous one is SWAT.
Yeah.
And it's shot of a van, just a van going down a street. Just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And anyway, and each one of the SWAT guys comes out and does some gnarly stunt. And one guy dives through a window, falls out of frame where he's obscured by boxes. Mm-hmm. And then what's clearly the actor who did not do the stunt pops up.
Right.
So Texas Switch is when a stuntman. It's the best.
Yeah.
So maybe Tom, let's start a rumor right now.
That it was a Texas Switch.
That Tom Cruise actually doesn't do his stunts. And we have the evidence. And the evidence is The Outsiders.
Right. We'll go back. It's kind of tough with the current footage that is playing on your feed right now,
now.
of him not wearing a parachute, but just
the burning parachute. Just when you think you said it, the burning,
I know.
It makes my stomach hurt.
It's incredible. Anyway, all right, enough about that. I'm joking.
So you're still a Springsteen fan, I'm assuming.
Always been. Always been, and yes, from day one. Yeah. Did you? I mean, because I know Swayze, myself, we were big Springsteen guys. Were you a Springsteen guy at that point, or just getting into it? Yeah.
No, for sure. Because
it was The Clash, Adamant, and Bruce, and Cheap Trick. I had going on the onset. I had my big boom box.
Adamant. And Matt
was into The Clash.
And Bowie.
Yeah, Bowie. Yeah.
And T-Rex.
Yeah. But Springsteen's, always. I've never met him. I know you're friends. Never met him.
Come on.
Never met him, and my family's pissed at me about that. But I'm like, I'm not that guy. There's also, it just never happened. I mean, I've seen him 1,000 times.
Yeah, no, 1,000,
and not quite, but I've seen him a bunch. Went to the Broadway thing twice. I actually sent a note backstage. For my wife saying, you're sending him a note backstage, because he's underscored my entire life. And so I did, and in my shitty handwriting, I said, but can I type it? No, you can't type it. All right, because I stopped writing when the phones came out.
All you can do is write your autograph.
Yeah, that's it. I could sign. That's it, and that pays off way better than any other kind of writing. But so I did send a note backstage. Just a respect note, not like, hey, can we meet? It was that,
right?
And
you didn't say I'm in aisle
C2 off the aisle. It'll be me. Yeah. I'll be waving. Yeah. No, it was really totally respectful note. I think that night Patty wasn't in the show. You've seen the Broadway show, right? So she wasn't and he commented that there was something going on with one of the kids. He said, I think his comment was, I thought at this point I'd be just participate in an advisory position, but for some reason now we got to go in full Monty. So we're dealing with this crisis. So Patty isn't here. So maybe there was something going on.
How great!
So I never heard back, but I'm just my God, what a career! Listen to the song. The Wrestler came from the movie The Wrestler. Just gorgeous, the One Trick Pony. Just a gorgeous piece of.
The story for that. He got.
Yep, I know all about it.
He got boned on the Oscar.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Because what is it? The rule? It has to play within the narrative.
Yeah.
It can't just be credits.
Right, but I guess Philadelphia played in the narrative.
It's some weird thing. It says someone who's been boned by the Oscars on. Well, it wasn't the Oscars, but I did a movie called Behind the Candelabra.
Yeah.
And my character
Jerry Weintraub. Is it another connection?
Michael Weintraub, I know you're listening.
Yep. Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he's with Ted right now listening.
He's with Ted.
Sarandos.
But there was a screen time limit, and I got everybody else won every award, and I won absolutely nothing.
But I just remember your face.
Yes,
it's awesome.
It was fun.
Yeah, what a great fun role that must have been.
So
you don't have to carry it, but you could come in and kill, add the color. It's awesome. That's what I'm looking for now. After all this awesome franchise stuff, and God, I mean, the Karate Kid, just that. From 1984 to now, how many movies, television, and that it's relevant for almost four generations now. You could have your grandparents and your nieces and nephews all watching a piece of that same thing. And I kind of was the Luke Skywalker of that, that franchise. But to that type of role.
You're the less angry at George Lucas.
A little bit less.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, that's what I am right now. Well, give me a week.
Right.
No.
I
saw Lucas. I'm segueing like crazy because with Francis Coppola's AFI.
Oh, tell me about. Oh, well, we got to talk about that.
Go in order.
No. I got in order. This is all bullshit. Tell me about. So I had Francis on the show.
That's great.
And it was. I cannot tell you what it was like for me. I listened to some of that. Yes, I saw that. I almost could get super emotional talking about it now.
I'm with you.
I mean, I don't even know what it's. I don't know what to compare it to. It's going back to high school reunion, to the principal or the teacher you thought didn't like you or did like you or whatever. It's so full of like baggage in a way.
Right, but for you, because of the film's initial cut and then the complete novel cut, that narrative is just an awesome, fully realized,
right?
With a third act now, it was great.
I mean, having that cut, the complete novel cut out, and having Francis say, because it was a mistake. It was a mistake that he made. I was wondering, was it the studio? Was it running time?
He said when he would get angry, I think correct me if I'm wrong if you know this, but he would say when he got when he butted heads with the studio, he usually would just cut stuff and make it shorter.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think he's on record for saying that. And when he looks back at that, that's something he wishes he could have course corrected, and now you kind of can, maybe not for the theatrical release, but so I think that was, he had a longer movie. You either follow the Curtis brothers or you go up to the church in Windricksville. And, fortunately for me at that point, I was in all that stuff. But on the flip side, you lost the brothers and you lost that beautiful scene that you have. And so it's great. But, Francis and the whole, that's on, do a plug for that. TNT June 18th. That'll air the AFI Lifetime Achievement
for Francis.
Coppola. Yeah,
and George was there, and
Lucas was there. Spielberg. It was nuts. Lucas, Spielberg, Ron Howard, Pacino, De Niro, Hoffman, me. No, sorry. And it
ain't bragging if you've done it.
Yeah, that's right. And see Thomas Howell, my partner in our little Outsiders piece. Diane Lane was there. Morgan Freeman, Spike Lee. Dude, I mean, for someone who lives outside of it, which is me, I've always kept 1 foot in and 1 foot out, right? I'm back in New York for the most part. So to be even at Ted's the night before gathering at his house and just be in the backyard, they had the lemon trees brought in. It was like Sorrento, and the opera was playing, and pizza and veal parmesan was being served, and Francis came in, and it was just to be part of that, and we started our careers there. It was really kind of warm and wonderful. And then it was also, look at this patio, look at these people.
Yeah.
It was kind of the Oscars without all the stuff.
Yeah, what's good about it.
And it was Harrison Ford, and everyone had another Francis story, and me and Tommy had some fun stuff that we did, and it went over really well. So I look forward for you to seeing it. But the first thing Ted said when he said, "I just got to Rob feels so bad he can't be here," that was like the opening line of like, "Hey Ted, how are you?" Yeah. So he threw you cred right away because I guess you were in Ireland.
It was Ireland shooting
the American TV show.
That's right. Yes,
which is how it's done.
That's right. That is. If you're not going to take 100 Americans to Ireland to shoot an American TV show, what are you doing? Like, that's the way the business goes.
Anyway.
Was Tommy, here's my favorite thing about Tommy, who I love so dearly, is sometimes he talks like a cowboy.
Right. He was a little less, he dialed back. I think he was kind of half cowboy.
Because, bro.
he goes full cowboy. I feel like I'm Tropic Thunder now.
And I'm going, I go, yes, Sam Neill's getting older.
Yep.
Tommy's found a lane.
Yep, exactly. He's got his music, and it's good.
And he's great.
Yeah.
But then I did notice when he came back to the Outsider stuff, he'd talk like Tommy Howell again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like when Madonna went British.
Yeah, you've never had a vocal affectation.
No. Well, I will. If you watch old footage of me when I first came up,
I think you need to have a vocal affectation.
I know. I'm going to work on that now. Well, now's I'm in the transition period.
I'm Australian.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'll do.
Because they're better actors,
Yes, of course.
They take all the jobs.
They do. You're
just better. You're just better if you're Australian. Better actor.
I think good eye, mate. Shrimp on the Barbie.
You're British, you're better.
British are better.
America sucks.
And then Blue Eyes helps too. You have that. So I don't. There was one point where I literally was, when I was had to work for a chunk.
Yeah.
And, you're flipping through what's on TV or people I've worked with. And I was convinced everyone had blue eyes.
See, I think it's the opposite now.
Yeah, it might be. It might
sure.
be. Yeah, it might be. But the pendulum always swings way too far either way.
Do you have any of your Tiger Beat? There was 16 magazine.
16 was.
We were both pinup boys.
Yep.
16
Tiger Beat.
They were the Newsweek and Time.
Yes, above the Teen Bops and those others
that were lesser citizens.
Right.
I think that's all gone. I mean, it's all gone. Obviously,
because it's all just digital.
Yeah, I wonder what it would have been like making The Outsiders in the TikTok world.
We'd be just in between scenes doing sketches.
Right.
I mean, we kill, when you do these, I'm just coming off the press tour and the stuff that they submit, you just have to, because I'm like, on Cobra Kai, it was easier because I say, give this to the kids. They're all set on. They're awesome at it.
Right.
So me and Billy Zapka, we would always just say, give it to the kids, they'd eat it up. They'd do the sketches, the skits, and all the games. But it's, and then when you, from the international aspect, when you go to, like I went to Mexico City and London or whatever, each outlet then comes up with, what we'd love them to do is this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've been asked that for 40 years and done like 12 different versions of it. But, I understand because you got to cut through it all.
Yeah.
Right. So an interview like this, I mean, the nice thing about this is a conversation. It's, and you feel like you're in the living room with two people and like, and that's wonderful. But in your 3 minutes or 2 minutes on your scrolling through, you have to do something ridiculous.
My buddy Chris Pratt tells a great story about, I should probably save it till I have him back on, but fuck it. About going to China for the first time and not being aware of how many people were watching the Chinese TV show. And he just decided all he was going to learn was how to say in Mandarin, China is great. So the entire thing, all he did was scream at the top of his lungs.
Right.
And he said when he came out of his hotel the next day, it was like the Beatles. Like he said he saw a guy start crying and faint, and they just carried him out like an ant, like ants would carry a big piece of meat. The international press tours are bananas.
Yeah, they are. We were just Mexico City was not. It's such a big market for the Karate Kid. It always has been. Latin America and certain countries, and it was. I felt like a matador at a bullfight. They was like cheering "La Russo" from the buildings, and it was fun.
Do you
up until I got the Montezuma's Revenge, and that was no fun.
It wouldn't be.
But it wouldn't be Mexico without coming away with that.
What do you do you ever have like anybody get all hammered and be like, hey, Karate Kid, I'll show you some karate.
Yeah, I'll kick your ass. Nah, I think they knew I had one magic kick that I kept going for 41 years.
Magic kick.
It was a piece of cinema. It was a cinematic magic trick.
Have you gone to UFC or any of that and walked in?
No.
You have to do that.
You would imagine it's probably the closest we got is they brought us to, because Netflix carried it. It was a big deal. Tyson and the recent fight.
Did you go to that?
Yeah, I was there.
No way.
And they put us on the thing. Me and Zapka was side by side, right up front with Bella and all the Netflix people.
I did see you.
And it's so funny because with the data, they just said, 52 million people just saw that. It's just crazy.
They had it all. I was with the Netflix team watching it as well on somewhere else, and they had it all happening, and it was breaking the infrastructure.
Yes, it was, because it was spinning. And they couldn't. And I said, you better fix this before the football playoffs that you bought this year.
Yeah.
And they seem to have
done
that. Because that's, it's at the 10. He's at the 5.
Could you imagine? By the way, I've had so many guests on the show. Look at this Ralph Macchio document. It's
a Bible?
Oh, wait. Okay. Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
Where's yours?
Where's mine? Mine is not too far from Musso and Frank's, which is always like the.
Gee, I wonder who.
I'm not far. I'm down by Las Palmas.
Yes.
Which was a nice thing because I remember being at the Light heading to the Outsiders audition.
At Las Palmas.
And ready to cross Hollywood Boulevard, and I remember distinctively looking at, and because I was pretty new to the town. I mean, I'd done 8 is Enough, but I was never down in Hollywood. We did that at what is Sony now, was MGM.
Not only
so
were
Culver
you
City.
not of the town, but you were the first person I ever knew who pronounced it Supplavita.
Sepulveda. Yeah, for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Sepulveda.
Sepulveda. That's
Once
it.
I got
You
there.
got it.
Put the right
you
emphasis on
got
the
it.
wrong syllable.
Syllable.
But I remember looking at all those stars on the thing and heading to the Coppola audition, and so I used that as part of my speech.
That's great.
And so that was a nice segue. It was great. The family was there. My kids, the story I've told way too many times. I'll do the quick version of it. Is when my son found a bin full of teen magazines that my mom had saved, and he came in and went to his sister. He says, "Jewel, Dad was huge, and we missed it." and I've told the story a ton. It's the first time you're hearing it, but I ended my Hollywood star speech saying, after all this and this experience with Cobra Kai and the new movie coming out, I guess
You get to see
Dad
this
was okay, and we didn't totally miss it.
That's so
Sweet, right?
That's really
That's
sweet.
bookend storytelling.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. So wait, you mentioned Musso and Frank's.
Yeah.
Is that known as the prime real estate?
No, I don't think so. It was the big, I mean, I guess you want to be like in front of the Dolby Theater, you want to be like right in Tourist Central.
Or you could be right in front. You could be at the front door of Musso and Frank's, like someone I know is.
Is that where you are?
Front door, baby. The reason I'm asking
so
is,
it was taken. That was the problem.
I'm just asking if it was known, like the golden quadrant of Holmby Hills.
Yeah, I think that's good real estate. They put mine respectfully, and it's really kind of wonderful,
That's
right
great.
next to Pat Morita's.
No, that's so great.
So it's pretty good one-stop shopping for those
that's
Karate
great.
Kid fans out there. You don't have to have the map, and you get Miyagi and Daniel-san in one photograph.
Oh, that's great.
So that's kind of cool.
Am I misremembering, or was Pat Morita? He was in Happy Days.
He was Arnold on
course he
Happy
was.
Days. Yeah, and that's when.
Did you ever go and watch Happy Days film?
No.
You didn't?
No, I don't live here, dude. I mean, I was just, I was here to work.
I remember
and
you
I went
being
back
here.
to watch the Mets and the
But
Islanders.
no, you would be at Patton Place.
God,
It's
that's
still
right.
there. It's still
Is
there.
it still there?
It's still there.
So that's Sherman Oaks. That's crazy. Yeah, that was. I
Patton
lived.
Place is an apartment building where every
Dick
struggling
Van Patten owned it.
Dick Van Patten owned it. 8 is Enough. He's
Yep.
a real estate tycoon, and
I didn't live there. I had
Jeff,
some
your
friends.
manager.
Jeff Ballard.
Yep.
Rest in peace. Sad story, but he was a great guy, friend to all of us, and so I lived in Santa Monica. I had on 12th between Wilshire and Montana, a condo that someone was. It was great, and then they separated, the people who owned it, and she was moving in there, and then I had to find a place, so I wound up in Marina Del Rey. At 1,452.
Marina Del Rey.
Yeah, right. The Californians.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? Exactly. And that was Tahiti Way or something like that.
Tahiti Way, yes.
Literally watching the boats coming, and that was for the
My
end.
son lives.
My
son lives on Tahiti Way right now.
That's killer. That's killer. But it was, and that was right, sort of the end of the last part. Actually, I lived there when I took acting lessons, when The Outsiders was the audition, because I started taking acting lessons after my first Outsiders audition.
You wanted to unlearn everything.
I wanted to learn to do this.
On 8 is Enough.
I just got jobs by hitting the mark and looking pretty good and
By the way,
not sucking.
And by the way, after all the acting lessons, you realize that's the most important thing.
That's right. Exactly.
Hit the marks.
Yep.
Say the lines, tell the truth.
Yep. It was Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks said a thing. Be on time, know the text, and have an idea.
You almost did a Tom Hanks.
Oh, I did?
You were very close to doing it.
Well, because I've heard him say it.
Know the lines.
Be on time.
Be on time.
Know the text, and have an idea.
And have an idea.
Yeah.
There he is. He's the karate.
There he
He's the
is.
guy. We love it. He's the guy. Here he is.
There he is, right here.
He's right here. He's got it. And I love that just turned into somebody else
Yeah.
in the middle of it.
It's
But
a
it was good.
cartoon.
It was good for
It was a good
almost
start.
It was good for a minute, and then it devolved into something not so good.
Yeah.
What is your summer like? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna try to enjoy some family time and those things I've been punting for 7 years as I've been in Atlanta shooting the series and then the movie. So some of that stuff on my desk I'm looking forward to, and a lot of it I'm not. It's just that part of that chapter of life where you have to.
Speaking of chapters, when are you writing the book?
The second book.
Yes.
I don't know. I've thought. I think that's going to be a little bit down the line. I think the one that when I was on last time, the Waxing On did very well, and we cracked that New York Times bestseller list. So that was cool. It was a great experience. I loved it. I did it myself,
Yep.
with and that feels really good, when you just write it and you set up those chapters. I had the template of what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, the promise of each story within, and then I delivered that. And for good or bad, that was what I wanted to do, and that feels really good about it. I don't know. My guess is unless I could find the right irreverent, sarcastic, self-deprecating humor angle of that part of me that a lot of people don't know, if I could find the right book to write in that tone, then I'll jump forward. Otherwise, just doing another, well, here I am now, and it's not as much interest. Maybe later in life, I might have the full-on, complete journey version.
Do the version of you at my roast.
Yeah,
you got the edge in you.
Yeah,
I know
was
you
fun.
do.
That was fun. That was a good. That was something I probably wouldn't do again, but it totally made, and I never say never. So right now, I'm doing it again because I just said that. But that was a perfect scenario, as challenging as it was, because when your slot gets moved down and you're hearing jokes that are similar that are either scoring or not scoring, and you don't have that experience to duck and move and call an audible, and as I was when we first met, very prepared, very on time, and I have an idea, but to shift and move in that comedic way where they're starting to hand you, okay, this didn't fly, so we're going to pull that had me on edge. But when I got there, it was a good segment, and the main thing is I stuck the landing on that set because it was a story, and it spoke to you and I. What don't I have that he has, and yet it was fun. And then right after that, Cobra Kai explodes on Netflix, and now I'm in the movies.
By the way,
Crazy.
I think
it was that
a lot. I mean, there's a lot of that. Those roasts at that time were fucking ginormous.
Yeah.
I ran into Peyton the other day, and he still remembers some of the jokes about himself that were just vicious.
Mine was Peyton joke was
what was your Peyton joke?
Peyton wrote a children's book. He didn't know it was a children's book, but everything turned out okay. I don't remember the last of it, but it was like he didn't set out to write a children's book, but when he got done, it was a children's book. That was a pretty good joke.
They're all everybody murdered.
Yeah,
and that was sort of Nikki Glazer's coming out party.
That's right. I was like, who's she? When they're giving me the list of who's on it, I was like, okay. And Pete Davidson. That was Pete Davidson. He came out of his trailer like Spicoli.
Oh, right.
And, I mean, he was right across from me. It's like just smoke.
He was smoking on the dais, on the air.
I never forget. He said to me, he goes, he was so high, and he was like right now. Jewel was next to me, and he kept leaning. He goes, "I'm texting with my family in Staten Island, and I told them you're here, and it's like they're acting like I'm sitting next to Bruce Springsteen."
That's amazing.
I said, "Well, I just have that effect." Pete.
That's so
so cool,
so much fun. Well, listen, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that I need to know about the great Ralph Macchio? Because, I mean, this is your podium, baby.
Yeah, no, it's good. Listen, the movie is, the fans are loving it. And I'm we're pushing in a very crowded summer, so I say get out to see Karate Kid Legends. You get to see little Jackie Chan and a great kid. This kid Ben Wong is spectacular.
Where'd you find him?
They searched they did an open call, 10,000 submissions, and he's wonderful, likable. He knows the martial. He could do martial arts, speak Mandarin. He checked a few boxes, but he delivered. And the one thing I know about the Karate Kid franchise, you got to have a kid you want to root for and you care about. And so if you don't have that, all the bells and whistles go away. And so he's really quite wonderful. And the kids like him, kids and parents. It's a film that celebrates fish out of water, mentorship, dealing with bullies, coming out ahead, being the best version of yourself that parents get to see with their kids. How many films do that aren't just animated stories? So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that connective tissue of what is the Karate Kid franchise. And, for me next, I'm just going to, have a little bit of a summer.
Good.
And develop some of the things that I got going. You know how hard it is, especially now. But I don't have to sweat it now either. Yeah. So I'm very grateful. We're privileged for what we have and how long we've been able to keep this ball up in the air, man.
I know. It's always great to see you.
It's great to see you. It's such a kindred spirit, the Outsiders guys. I mean, it was just, we were in this little movie camp.
It's our I always say it's like your fraternity brothers.
Yeah, 100%.
You always have that, always, no matter what goes on in life. It's like, we know.
We know that.
I know that you know that he knows that we know.
And as competitive as it all was, especially now at this age, all I do is root for all of us. I mean, it's
right?
like,
Yes.
it's the graduating class that's still, you could have a couple of us in movie theaters and on podcasts and TV shows and game shows. It's, you keep the legacy alive. It's good. It's good. Congrats to you and all of us, man.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
All right, buddy.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Literally, sponsored by Lowe's.